Institute of Social and Economic Research, Professor Femi Ogundele, during a discussion on World Food Day amidst persistent hunger on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Program, AM 120. Our reporter, Fedora Afolagoye, who monitored the program, has the details.
On World Food Day 2025, Nigeria still grapples with significant food security challenges as millions struggle to access nutritious food. Climate change, economic instability, and conflict exacerbate the issue. Sustainable agriculture, improved food distribution, and equitable access are critical to addressing hunger in Nigeria. In his contribution to the discussion, a former provost, College of Agriculture, Olabisi Onabanjo University, OOU, Professor Oluwatobi Adeokun, noted that hunger has been a persistent issue in Nigeria, exacerbated by factors such as insecurity, famine, and limited access to food due to high prices. He emphasized the need to support subsistence farmers through technological advancement, as they are the primary contributors to food production and supply in the market. Also featuring on the program, a food policy researcher at the Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research, NISA, Professor Femi Ogundele, stressed that food security in Nigeria can only be achieved through a multi-stakeholder approach, requiring concerted efforts from government agencies at all levels and academic institutions. He observed that despite the federal government's formulation of policies and strategies to enhance food security, the lack of corresponding action at the state level has constrained their impact. They both urged families to adopt household farming practices and called on stakeholders to prioritize the development of rural infrastructures to enhance food security. Fedora Afolagoye, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope is coming to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. Ahead of the People's Democratic Party PDP National Convention scheduled for November the 15th and the 16th in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, members of the PDP Convention Committee have inspected the Lekon Salami Sports Complex at Adamasimba, the proposed venue for the event. The committee, led by the governor of Adamawa State, Umar Fintiri, also visited the Samuel Ladoke Akitola International Airport, Alakia, Ibadan, as part of its preparatory assessment. Details of the event are presented by the governor's office correspondent, Olalekan Sulaiman.
Ahead of the People's Democratic Party PDP National Convention, scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, members of the People's Democratic Party PDP Convention Committee conducted an inspection tour of facility at Lekon Salami Sports Complex at Adamasimba, Ibadan, and the Samuel Ladoke Akitola International Airport, Alakia. Speaking with journalists after the inspection, the chairman of the committee and governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, expressed satisfaction with the level of preparedness and commended the Oyo State government for its support and readiness to host the event. He particularly appreciated Governor Seyi Makinde for his unwavering commitment to the party.
We are fully ready and prepared for the convention coming on the 15th and 16th of November, and we are here to have on-the-spot assessment of the venue for the convention in Ibadan, and the stadium is where we are going to use as the convention ground. And I think what I've seen is quite impressive and is excellent. What is remaining is for us to dot the I's and cross the T's, and I think we are good to go.
Addressing recent defections from the PDP, Governor Fintiri reassured party members that the PDP remains a strong and united force and more determined than ever to reclaim power in 2027. The inspection exercise is part of the committee's ongoing effort to ensure a smooth and successful national convention. Olalekan Sulaiman. Business News.
The robust measures to combat the rising issue of land grabbing in Oyo State is already working, with anti-land grabbing agencies succeeded in over 1,000 cases within 3 years. The chairperson of the Oyo State Real Properties Protection Law Task Force, retired Justice Olajumoke Aiki, stated this during an exclusive interview with BCOS News. Our man, Bode Akinjola, compiled these excerpts from the interview. Bode's report is presented by Bimisola Adebayo.
In a bid to curb the issue of land grabbing in Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde inaugurated the Oyo State Real Properties Protection Law Task Force, headed by Justice Olajumoke Aiki. Since the inauguration of the agency in September 2022, the task force has hit the ground running in protecting the rights of property owners while putting a stop to the nefarious activities of land merchants that violently seize people's land. Speaking on the efforts since 3 years ago, speaking on the efforts of the agency since its inauguration, Justice Olajumoke Aiki revealed that the agency has received over 3,000 petitions. She added that out of the over 3,000 petitions, over 1,000 cases have been resolved.
Engineer Oluyole Makinde has done very wonderfully well in the area of curbing land grabbing in Oyo State. And we have done everything that we could with the aid and able assistance of His Excellency the Governor. He gave us everything that we require to ensure that work gets done in earnest. And therefore, all the law enforcement agencies in Oyo State, the Ministry of Lands, Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy, the Ministry of Finance, through the Office of the Accountant General of Oyo State, the Nigeria Bar Association, and all other stakeholders who were necessary to make the task force work effectively, including the Office of the Attorney General of Oyo State, were brought together to start work.
Justice Olajumoke Aiki added that the free hand given to the agency by Governor Seyi Makinde helped the agency to achieve the mandate in curbing land grabbing in the state.
Our work essentially is investigation of land grabbing crimes established under sections 3 to 13 of the Real Properties Protection Law 2016. As we speak, we have worked on over 2,000 petitions. And as we speak, we have almost 300 prosecutions ongoing in the magistrate and the high courts of Oyo State. Also, we have settled more than 1,000 petitions without necessarily going to court, because one way or the other, not necessary to be taken to court. So overall, we have handled more than 3,000 petitions, and we have seen that in Oyo State, the wave of land grabbing has died down tremendously, and it is to the credit of His Excellency Governor Oluyole Makinde.
While sounding a note of warning, Justice Olajumoke Aiki stated that the Section 3, Subsection 13 of the Act that established the agency, land grabbers will be jailed for up to 15 years, while those who aid and abet will also not go unpunished.
Nigerian journalists have been taxed on the need to have a second address to fall back on as the profession continues to lose future sustainability value. A lecturer in the Department of Communication and Media Studies, Lead City University, Ibadan, Dr. Bayonle Busari, gave the hint while delivering the Veterans Day lecture as part of the activities celebrating the 2025 Press Week of the Oyo NUJ. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdulrafi has the details of the event held at the Dapo Adeogba Hall Press Center, Iyaganku, Ibadan.
Delivering the lecture titled Bridging the Gap Between the Old and the New as an highlight of the programs marking the Veterans Day of the Oyo State Press Week 2025, a lecturer in the Department of Communication Studies, Lead City University, Ibadan, Dr. Bayon Lebusare, lamented the irresponsibility on the part of some media owners to the welfare of journalists, while noting that not all journalists will get their salary and other incentives as at when due, despite the dedication and commitment to duty. He stated that it behoves on journalists to take their fate in their own hands by harnessing skills in other sustainable ventures.
Today you have a lot of media owners who are not responsible to the commitment of their workers. So if you work within that environment, you have to begin to think of what your tomorrow will be. And that's why I canvassed that there's a need for journalists of today to begin to think of the other alternative to living when he quits the job.
In his remarks as the chairman of Education, the State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, President Oluyole, challenged the journalists to engage in book publishing by documenting experiences which will not only earn them good money, but also be a guiding light to those coming behind in the profession.
The second-hand value of our dear profession is in jeopardy, and it's never been there. Yes, you do find aberration, people who will be in the profession, in the trade from their youth, and they continue to be relevant. But what's the percentage? So that's why it's a very good opportunity today that the NUJ is celebrating another Veteran Day, which they do annually.
Also contributing, the chairman, veteran journalist, Oyo State, Chief Banji Ogundele, maintained that it is a sad reality that journalism is not enough to live a comfortable life. Hence, practitioners must be able to diversify into what could earn them sustainable living at old age. He encouraged journalists to train their children and build proper relationship with their family so as not to be neglected at the later days. Earlier in his welcome address, the chairman, NUJ Oyo State Council, Comrade Demola Babalola, stated that the Veterans Day is a way of honoring the elders whose professionalism has continued to keep the union relevant. He used the opportunity to enjoin aspirants in the next council election of the union to shun campaign of calumny, noting that it takes huge sacrifice and efforts to build the peaceful coexistence and progress being witnessed among journalists in Oyo State today.
You should continue to practice this profession with the fear of God, and you must ensure that all the ethics of this profession, including objectivity, fairness, and being truthful, must be at your beck and call, but be part of your life 24/7. And journalists generally must know that even while practicing as a journalist, always think of the what next after you attain retirement age.
High point of the event included presentation of awards and recognitions to deserving past executive members of the union at the council level, while the special guest of honor, Senator representing Oyo North, Fatai Buhari, who was represented by Barrister Tunde Lawal, was also honored. Adebayo Abdulrafi, BCOS News.
And on the foreign scene, Madagascar has sworn in an army colonel as president just days after a military takeover on the back of a popular rebellion that sent President Andry Rajoelina fleeing into exile. The African island nation's High Constitutional Court on Friday formalized the appointment of Colonel Michael Radriniarina in a ceremony crowning a tumultuous week in which Rajoelina was impeached for desertion of duty on Tuesday, with the military stepping in. Mass demonstrations in recent weeks over power and water shortages turned deadly, with the United Nations reporting that at least 22 people have been killed and more than 100 others were injured. The ceremony was attended by military officers, politicians, representatives of the Gen Z youth-led protest movement, and several foreign delegations, including from the United States, the European Union, Russia, and France.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. The Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU has called on the federal government to improve funding for public universities, warning that sustainable investment in education is the only path to ending strikes.
A violent clash between some illegal miners and suspected bandits at the Oluyole ward in the Burning Quarry local government area of Kaduna State has left at least 7 people dead.
The robust measures to combat the rising issue of land grabbing in Oyo State is already working, with anti-land grabbing agency succeeding in over 1,000 cases within 3 years.
Madagascar sworn in an army colonel as president just days after a military takeover on the back of a popular rebellion that sent President Andry Rajoelina fleeing into exile.
And that's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Afolakemi Akambi and delivered by
Adetoke Olaleye
and Josephine Oluwabumi. Thanks for listening. Do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
News, sports and entertainment. We got everything you need and so much more. Yeah. 98.5 FM. Oluyole. 98.5 FM. Hear it all. Dial to the #1 station. You get even quality information. Brighten up your day in so many ways. Tune to 98.5 FM. 98.5 FM. 98.5 FM. Oluyole. 98.5 FM. 98.5 FM.
Make I ask you the last question. Among the options where I will give you, choose the one where they give better gaming experience where person no fit forget. A, to use your data to watch match early momo. B, they listen to your uncle where be Ogbonge sports guru. C, Betano. The correct answer now, Betano. Don't control yourself. If you join the Pata betting platform for inside Nigeria, where you get different betting options, fast cash out, missions where they engage you, betting jara features, and we go welcome you with bonus of 200,000 naira. Betano, the game don't start. Bet responsibly. Only for people who don't pass 18 years. Betano na proud partner of Aston Villa.
Rédíò tí ò láfiwé Olúyọ̀lé FM 98.5 ìdùnnú rẹ lójoojúmọ́.
Madeniyo. Wòye ọ̀la Adeniyo rọ́tù tí wọ́n stage mẹ́rin bí Adeniyo ìwòye ọ̀la Emmanuel nǹkan gospel Emmanuel. God is with us. I wanna see your face, baby, you forevermore. Timo gbàdúrà, mama bless the Lord. Mama rí gbàdúrà fọlá, èyí ni testimony. ti gbà á padà ọba ti gbà tí ó ṣe wé. Ọmọ ènìyàn ọmọ Ádámù, ọmọ ènìyàn ọmọ ọ̀ka, ọmọ aráyé. Wọ́n á ti gbà á padà ọba ti gbà tí ó ṣe. Olúwa ló bí fún wa ẹgbẹ́ aráyé kan. Etí inú lójó lò, mo fi ń lọ́ṣà yẹn. Ojú inú lọ́jà lò, lóbi iṣẹ́ yẹn. Táwé sábẹ́ ìwé jẹ́kọ̀, olóye wọn sí. Táwé sábẹ́ ìwé jẹ́kọ̀.
Ojú ẹni màlà kárí ọ̀nà ọmọ aráyé àwọn onísọnù ọbí wọn sọmọ lọ́lá ní ọ̀nà. This life too hard but kó máa lọ lè mọ́ mi.
Ojú ẹni màlà kárí tó ló wà kájí kó mẹ́wù káyíkó ẹyin tèmi bá di parí ìbò. Mẹ́wù speaking ẹ̀jọ̀ tójọ́ túnjújà mẹ́wù dé kó as we dey try. Gbogbo ọlọ́mọ ló. Gbogbo ọlọ́mọ kọ́lé, gbogbo ọlọ́mọ lọ́la. Olúyọlá ọmọdéni, ọmọdéni, ọmọdéni.
Ojúkiri ojúrí tó, àkóyíjà bàràkà jíkó, mi ò fẹ́ wàhálà rárá o. Ó máa ṣorí ó máa ṣorí.
Rédíò tí ò láfiwé Olúyọ̀lé FM 98.5 ìdùnnú rẹ lójoojúmọ́.
Unstoppable, unbeatable, untouchable. The station that does it better. Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.